Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Well, we see what's going on in this world today, all that's happening, the tragedies that are happening, and this affects our psyches very deeply, and it's all to create a fear within us. But we have to understand that fear is not a consciousness thing. Fear is a worldly thing. It's a earthly thing. It's not connected to what is infinity, what is consciousness. But fear is there within us to separate us, to divide our own consciousness, to divide our thinking processes, to create a separation. But to live in fear takes away the quality of life. And it's very true. Whenever we live in the fear of something, that quality of living is less. We don't feel comfortable in our environments. Things change within us. Our body system itself changes. So it's very important that you can say, protect ourselves from that fear, protect ourselves from that division, that duality that it creates within us. And whenever there's a duality within us, there's never a totality within us. So we have to understand that in these times, with everything that's going on, it's even more important that we have a very strong spiritual base for ourselves. And I've talked about that a lot, the importance of a strong spiritual base, and the importance of you and your meditative mind being able to relax, to breathe properly, to breathe deeply, to let the systems of the body relax so that our mind itself can relax. And meditation is the purest form, and the purest form of that in ourselves to give us that ability to calm ourselves down and to expand our own awareness and understanding and know that we're here for a reason. These times that we're facing, yes, they're difficult times, is very true, and we're seeing in this world. And we really sometimes just wonder, how can that possibly be? It is so crazy, it is so subjective, it is so much subjugative, it's so much against the principles of what is the truth of humanity, is what the truth of the soul. It's so just unreasonable to understand how no one can apply the reason to see why we don't honor the sacredness of life. But instead we just take life. There's those who just take life, they think life is nothing. But we understand that nobody is above that which created this creation. They may think they're above it, but nobody is above it. And everybody has to answer eventually for what they do. But we don't hear about the sacredness of life, the caring of life, the sharing of life, how we can become together, how we can have that relationship of understanding, to bring truth, to bring reality, to bring happiness to humanity. There's no thought about how do we bring happiness to humanity? How do we bring that sacredness? We want oneness, we want purity, we want all of that. And yet we see that there's a foundation of ruling that doesn't allow that, that keeps us to be subjects of something, that we should be a subject of a king, we should be a subject of a president, we should be a subject of a country. When really every human being is born with the birthright of freedom. We're born with the birthright of equality. We're born with that birthright to have compassion and love for one another. We're born with the birthright to merge, to become, to belong, to see, to understand, to be conscious, to be compassionate, to have tolerance and to accept. To me, that is the true reality of why we are born onto this world. Because we're born very innocent into this world. We come very innocent. And we leave also that nakedness. When we leave this physical form, we leave in that nakedness. And when we come into this physical form, we come in that nakedness. But the fight is that fear that goes into us, that stops us, that keeps us from being together with each other. As soon as that fear comes into us and that doubt comes into us, and that's part of an agenda to create that fear, to create the doubt, to divide and to conquer, to create separation, so that we don't see each other the same, so we can't unify. This world has to change. We can see and understand that it has to change. And we have to be an instrument for that change. But that force that seems so strong to hold us against having those changes, and we see that it's getting worse. It's very true. But I've always held the belief that that's not going to last, that it can't last. We're in this Kali Yuga, we're in this darkest part of this age, where everything will turn upside down, where those who want to try to maintain their power, their controls, their monies are going to just continue to exert even more effort to maintain that, to sustain it, in an unsustainable way. So we have to rise to that consciousness. We have to give ourselves, all parts of ourselves, to share a message of peace to this world, to help each other. That to each of us we can just share that message, grow that message, give hope to those who have no hope. Give freedom to those who never feel free. Give a kindness and a compassion to those who feel very much alone. To reach out, to teach out, to spread a message. To help each other, to help others. To do that seva, that service. So that starts within myself. I have to take what is my responsibility during these times. That's what I look at. I say, what responsibility do I have? And how do I carry that responsibility? Because we have a choice. I have a choice. I can hide from it and withdraw from it. Or I can continue to be out front as best I can to reach whoever I can, however I can, to share this message. To bring a message of hope. But it starts with me and my practice, my spiritual practice. I talk so much about seeing that we have a strong spiritual base. Spiritual base means that regardless of what goes on, I'm connected to the infinity. I'm connected to the consciousness. I'm connected to the universe. I'm connected to that whole cosmos of what is there in the Akashic fields, that is there, all the information, all the flow that comes from this life and many lives and future lives that will come, and from all the souls that we connect into and feel and understand and apply our intuitive mind to realize and to feel and to see and to balance all these energy centers. So that there's an opening, there's an awareness that comes that we can project ourselves into that understanding and yet still come back into this day-to-day life. We are householders. We don't take away that from that we should just live in mountaintops and forests and jungles. We are householders, we're here living, but we also have the capacity to experience consciousness, to experience the vastness of the universe, and to feel that intuition, and to help spread the message of peace to this world and help to lift others that need lifting. And there's many people that need lifting right now. Because with that division and with that fear always comes a negative feeling and a negative mind. And negative mind will always lead to depression. Whenever the mind falls into a negative path, the next step of that negative path is to go into depression, to blame others, to complain, to not feel wanted, to not feel accepted, to be defeated by what is happening in this world, to be defeated by one's own self. And that's falling into that depression. Depression means that I lose that sense of my light, I lose that sense of my beauty, I don't see how my tomorrow can flow, and I get caught into that negative mind. And it stops me from having that birthright of happiness, of joy, of sacredness. So how do we get out of that? Naturally, we can get out of that through meditation, through acknowledging my own beauty and my light, through not blaming myself, but learning forgiveness. First, that forgiveness is to forgive myself, and to understand and accept what is happening, so that I don't fall into the trap of the negative mind, which takes me out of that presence. So I've always watched myself over years and how the flow and the ebb of myself moves through the shifting of the times. And that's a time when my practice gets stronger and stronger for myself, so that I can have that balance and be able to balance what is happening. Without that balance, what happens? Then the mind travels into different hemispheres, zones, frames, to doubt, to fear, to be uncertain. And that affects our nervous system first, and then we become very tense, we become very shaky in ourselves, and then the body starts to break down. It's really I'm just going through that phase of what happens when we lose that sense of our own elevation. So let us just understand that for what that is. Let us understand that the powerful meditative mind and vibrating into the universe. We use mantra, you can use breathing technique as you wish to use. To bring yourself to that state of calmness, of easiness within yourself, we call that sahaj, a state of calmness, and none, that state of bliss, piyad, that state of deep love within one's own self. To know yourself, to love yourself, to trust yourself, and to be yourself. Because I've never lost the belief that the change shall happen when we shall honor the sacredness of life. And whether I see it in my lifetime It's not the issue. The question is, what foundation am I laying for future generations? Because it may take several generations for that to happen, but it shall be. Because Satyug, the age of truth, is emerging, will emerge, will continue to grow, so that one day we can find the sacredness and see the sacredness and see the light that lives in the heart of each other, and not see the divisions and the differences, but see how we can go coexist, no matter what our faith, what our religion, what our belief, what our preference, what our gender, what our color, what caste, it doesn't matter. That we can find the truth within our heart. So let us serve humanity, let us serve the tomorrow. Most importantly, be sure that your energy is maintained. That's the key of it. This is the time we have to really, really maintain ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. So physically, what we eat, how we digest our food, how we relax our body system is very important. Mentally, to meditate, meditate. That is the mantra of this age. Meditate, meditate, meditate. And know and understand that you are part of a vast universe where there's so much you can tap into, so much you can receive, so much you can have. So that our children can grow, future generations, and we can help to bring this world to a peaceful coexistence. But now is the time that those prayers for peace need to be strong, where we need to reach out and help others, help humanity, stand for the human rights of all people, and not feel that we're a people that have to be subjugated, because that is what's going on. This is the time to not be subjugated, but to be liberated. To liberate ourselves, liberate our consciousness, liberate each other, and work to bring a peaceful world where all can be accepted, where the true Ekankar, the true oneness of all creation, to understand that we came from one that created a oneness, and we are all part of that, everyone is part of that, and to recognize and honor the sacredness of life. These are all just very simple ways of being, simple ways of coexistence that has been taken, but shall return, and we shall bring this world to peace. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.